Hello students, myself Deepika Prajapati from Computer Department, and let's start. Today we are going to discuss about the new topic of the subject FOSD. So today's our topic is modality. In a previous video lecture we have already discussed cardinality, and now we are going to discuss about modality. So cardinality topic is a very most important topic of the GTU exam, and now we are going to discuss modality. So what is modality and how it work? So cardinality does not provide an indication of whether or not a particular data object must participate in the relationship. So that's why to specify this information, the data model adds modality concept to the object and relationship pair. Once again, cardinality does not provide an indication of whether or not a particular data object so must participate in the relationship. That's why to specify this information, the data model adds modality concept to the object and relationship pair. So modality is nothing but it is a one kind of a form of cardinality. So modality we can say as it is a form of cardinality. So the modality means a classification of relationship on basis of whether they claim necessity, possibility or impossibility. So the modality is 0 if an occurrence of relationship is optional, and modularity is 1 if an occurrence of relationship is mandatory. 0 that means it is optional, not compulsory. And here one is 1 that means it is necessary, mandatory. Okay, once again, if modality is 0 that means relationship is optional, not compulsory, and modularity is 1 that means our relationship is mandatory. Okay, here one is the figure of modality. So you all see here one is our modality using 0 occurrence and 1 occurrence. So here the relationship, as we know, relationship will be signed using diamond symbol. So here one relationship using diamond symbol. So using here one the optional 0 or 1, then we have to use these types of symbol for the entity. So here one is entity and relationship between used optional 0 or 1, optional 0 or 1 for a modality, and here one is entity and relationship using modality optional 0 or many. So whenever we use modality 0 or 1, then we have to sign these types of symbol, and whenever we used modality optional 0 or many, then we have to use these types of symbol. Okay, here one mandatory. Whenever we used modality with mandatory, it means compulsory. That time we have to use these types of parallel lining for entity and relationship. And whenever we used mandatory many, then we have to use these types of symbol for entity and relationship. So this concept is our modularity concept for a system of the software. Okay, next, data flow diagram, and this topic is very most important topic for our GTU exam. So what is DFD? DFD stands for data flow diagram, and this topic asked in GTU exam like explain DFD with proper example. So whenever this type of question asked in GTU exam, then you all have to attempt this types of answer for this question. Okay, so data flow diagram stands for DFD, is also called as bubble chart, otherwise we can also say as a data flow graph. Why we known as this diagram as a bubble chart? Because see here we have used this type of bubble in every DFD level diagram. So that's why It is known as bubble chart or data flow graph. Okay. DFDs are very useful in understanding the system and can be effectively used during analysis. It shows the flow of data through a system visually. And DFD is a hierarchical graphical model of a system that shows the different processing activities or functions that the system perform and the data interchange among these functions. So it view a system as a function that transform the inputs into desired outputs. So each function is considered as a process that consumes some input data and produce some output data. Okay. So here one, the basic symbol used in DFD diagram. So first of all, we have to use for a process symbol as a round shape. Next, for an external entity, then we have to use this type of rectangle shape. Whenever we used data flow, then we have to use this type of arrow shape. And whenever we used for store data in a database, then we have to use this type of parallel lining for the database store. And whenever we decide the output of system, and that denotes with these types of rectangle cut either side symbol. Okay. So here once again, process is represented by circle or bubble. Circles are annotated with names of the corresponding function. A process shows the part of the system and that transform inputs into outputs, and it is named using single word that describe what the system does functionality. Next, external entity. So external entity is represented by rectangle, and entities are external to the system which interact by inputting data to the system or by consuming data produced by the system. So it can also define source and destination of the system. Okay. So whenever any external entity represented of our system, then we have to use this type of symbol as a rectangle. Okay. Next, data flow. Data flow is represented by an arc or by an arrow, and it is used to describe the movement of the data. It represents the data flow occurring between two processes or between an external entity and a process. So it passes data from one part of the system to another part. So it is nothing but the data flow considered by arrow system between the communication of system and user. So data flow arrow usually annotated with the corresponding data names. Next, data store. So data store is represented by two parallel lines, and generally it is a logical file, and we can also say as a database. So it can be either a data structure or physical file on the disk. Output. Whenever we see here any system given by output, and this output can be represented of the system with these types of graphically represented by rectangle cut either side. So output is used when a hard copy is produced, and it is graphically represented by a rectangle cut either side. Okay. Here mainly three levels are used in a DFD system. So first of all, level 0 of DFD, it's known as a context diagram. Level 1 and level 2. So totally 3 levels are used in DFD. Once again, level 0, level 1 and level 2. Level 0 is also known as context level diagram. So first of all, here we start level 0, it means context diagram. So here this is our example of context level diagram. It means level 0 of DFD system. So user, it is our entity, and average calculator is our process of entity. So what is here the process of user? So process of user is user can calculate average of totally subject. So here once again, user is our entity set and average calculator is its process. So that's why we define process within a round shape and we define entity within our rectangle box. And the communication between user and average calculator process using this arrow line. That means data flow line. So this is our entity, this is our process, and this our arrow line is data flow. Okay. So once again, here the description about context diagram. So context diagram is a top level diagram and it only contains one process. In a 0 level DFD diagram, keep in your mind, dear all, it only contains one process node and that generalizes the function of entire system with external entity. It represents the entire system as a single bubble and data input and output are represented using incoming and outgoing arrows, and these arrows should be annotated with the corresponding data items. So the bubbles are decomposed into functions that the successive level of DFD, and this is our sub main function of context level diagram. Here numbering of bubbles, so it is necessary to number the different bubbles occurring in DFD. The bubble at context level is usually assigned the number 0 and that is indicated 0 level of DFD. So bubble at 1, then it numbered as 0.1, 0.2, etc. So here this one is our context level 0 diagram and here one is our context level 1 and 2 level diagram. So this is our input validation, compute average and display result that is covered by level 1 data flow diagram. So here one calculate sum and divide by 3 is process of our level 2 DFD diagram and that is depends on context level and level 1. Okay. Next, scenario based modeling. Scenario based modeling is very most important concept for CTU exam. So in a scenario based modeling, UML is our most important concept. So UML stands for Unified Modeling Language. So Unified Modeling Language is used to visualize, specify, construct and document the software system, and UML can be used to construct 9 types of diagram to capture 5 different views of the system. So here which 9 types and which 5 different view of the UML? So here see structural view, behavioral view, environmental view and implementation view and users view. Totally 5 views and these all 5 views cover totally 9 diagram. So in a structural view diagram, class and object. In behavioral view diagram, sequence, collaboration, state and activity. In a environmental view, deployment diagram, and in a implementation view, component diagram. So totally and users view completed use case diagram. So totally 5 views and 9 diagram contain in UML. It means Unified Modeling Language. Structural view describe static model of the system. Behavioral view describe dynamic model of the system. Environmental view describes system implementation and different hardware. And implementation view describe the system and their dependency. Now let's start the first user view of use case diagram. And this question asked in G2 exam like explain use case diagram with example. So whenever this type of question asked in G2 exam, then you all have to attempt the answer of this question this type. Okay. So what is use case? So use case model in UML provides system behavior. Use cases represents the different ways in which a system can be used by user. The purpose of use case is to define logical behavior of the system without knowing the internal structure of it. And the main theme of UML describe who can do what in system. Once again, mainly theme for use case is who can do what in system. So a use case represents a sequence of interaction between user and system. Here one normally basically symbols used for use case is these types of ellipse and for the boundary rectangle. So each use case is represented by ellipse with the name of use case written inside the ellipse, and all the use cases are enclosed with rectangle, and that is represented by system boundary. Okay. Next, actor. So actor is anything outside the system that interact with it. Actor in the use case diagram are represented by using the stick person icon, maybe person, machine and external system. In use case diagram, actor are connected to use cases by drawing a simple line and connected to it. So here let's start the use case diagram with figure. So this is nothing but the very simple example of use case diagram using ATM banking system. So here this is our actor and it's known as a customer. This all our use case is ellipse. So that's why we define within a ellipse deposit cash, withdraw cash, check balance. And this all are included in authenticate use case ellipse. And this is totally system depends on ATM banking system. It means that customer can deposit cash, customer can withdraw cash and customer can check balance. And this all activities include for only and only authenticate person, as well as we can also say as a authorized person. Okay. So this is our best example of use case diagram. So here what is include? So this is nothing but relationship of these all activities and authenticate person. So here the relationship are connected use cases through actor and ellipse use cases name. So an actor may have relationship with more than one use cases, and one use cases may relate to more than one actor. So totally three types of relationship used in use case diagram. First of all, association, include and extend. Association is nothing but a simple line. Include, that is denoted by these types of arrow, and exclude, that is denoted by these types of arrow. So here one is a base use case and that is our common use case, and this is the example of extend, this is the example of include, and association, that means here one, this is single line. Single line we can also say as a simple line. It is our association relationship. This is a include relationship, and here one, this is a extend relationship. Okay. Normally, this one is a use case guideline. So identify all different users and give the suitable names for each user. Identify task, and this task will be the use cases. So use case name should be use perspective and show the relationship and dependency. And this is a properly example of use case. This is a customer is our person, ATM technician it is our machine, and bank it is our external customer, we can also say as a user. Okay, so this one is a proper example of ATM bank system of the use case diagram. This is our application of use cases, requirement analysis, reverse engineering and forward engineering. So I hope dear all students you all easily understand about use case diagram, data flow diagram and UML model and modality. So in the next lecture we will discuss activity diagram. So I hope you all easily understand about this all topics, and this all topics very most important for GTU exam. So please like, share and subscribe. Okay, thank you.